I'd like to introduce you to the FluenCi project. FluenCi teaches the importance of intonation in spoken English to learners of English as a foreign language. FluenCi stands for Fluency in Communicative Interaction. This work would not be possible without funding from the European Union. The presentation reflects the views of the development team only and does not reflect the views of the Commission. As native speakers, we are so used to hearing words, it comes as a bit of a shock to discover that there are no words in speech, only in the heads of the speaker and the listener. Speech is like writing. It can be clear, like print, or it can be blurred, like scrawled handwriting. In writing, it is often impossible to make out the words, let alone the individual letters. Similarly, in speech between native speakers who know each other well, not all of the information expected by the learner-listener is actually contained in the acoustic signal. In a way, it can be said that writing is digital, i.e., words are neatly separated by spaces, whereas speech itself has no words. It is just an analog blur. But the native listener gets enough acoustic information for the communication to be understood. Training dialogues teach vocabulary and grammar in often encountered situations. This diagram shows the choreography of scripted training dialogues with each speaker politely taking turns. Real dialogues, on the other hand, are not about producing perfect sentences in beautifully choreographed interchanges. They are about communicating in real time with a dynamically interacting interlocutor. Dialogue, to a large extent, is about response, as frequently pointed out by Professor Mike McCarthy. Unscripted dialogue is characterized by incomplete sentences, crosstalk, and messy turn behavior. Mehrabian has calculated that in informal speech, where emotion content is high, that only 7% of the communication is down to the choice of words. Almost 40% of the communication is achieved by intonation and prosody, in other words, the manner in which speech is delivered. This 38%, to be precise, is the subject of study in DIT, and FluenCi is the bridge between conventional training materials and natural unscripted dialogue. Real dialogue, as analyzed in the dynamic speech corpus, operates at 3 levels. At turn level, speakers interact by taking a turn, contending ownership of the floor, or conceding their turn. Below that, speakers operate at a semantic level, putting what they want to say into sentences and phrases. The lowest level is the phonetic level, where the speech is characterized by false starts, rephrasing, buying time, etc. Native listeners tend not to hear the phonetic level, but concentrate on the middle semantic level. This is also the level at which FluenCi operates. The column on the left categorizes formulaic language according to its structure. What is now needed is to supplement this work, enriched by the inclusion of intonation and prosody, as proposed by Dr. Yi Wang in her PhD thesis. The FluenCi project is the first practical step to bridge the gap between conventional training materials and the jungle of unscripted native-to-native dialogic speech. The starting point of FluenCi is the realization, gleaned from the study of unscripted natural dialogues, that often what you say is less important than how you say it. The study of formulaicity has shown that almost 60% of informal speech is composed of formulaic sequences. Alison Ray has shown that this facilitates both speaker and listener. EFL speakers who have not mastered the communicative value of what Hasselgreen calls small words and phrases are perceived as lacking in fluency. Intonation also plays an important role at turn level, where speakers interact in a responsive fashion. This diagram is a visualization of where we see FluenCi fitting in the range of materials for spoken language. It expands the lexis, morphology, syntax, and grammar of conventional materials and acts as a first step on the way to dealing with natural, unscripted dialogues, as exemplified in DIT's dynamic speech corpus, which is currently being constructed. There are 3 partners in the FluenCi project. The proposer and coordinating partner is DIT, which targets secondary school pupils, immigrants, and third-level students. Another academic partner is UNED, the Universidad Nacional de Educación a Distancia. This is the largest university in Europe and specializes in distance learning. Its target groups are trainee teachers, undergraduate students, and adult prisoners. The third partner has a distinguished background in publishing. It is Cambridge University Press, which is the oldest third-level publishing house in the world. UNED and DIT have agreed 200 high-frequency phrases, which are exemplified in the training materials produced by UNED. Of these, DIT is taking between 20 and 30 key phrases and preparing them for online delivery. These phrases and their associated exercises sensitize the learner in detail to the important role of intonation and prosody in native-to-native communication, concentrating on speaker intention, discourse function, and the speech features stress, speed of delivery, intonation, and vowel length. The DIT approach also allows for a link with the dynamic speech corpus, and the use of HTML5 opens the way for migration to tablets and mobile devices. In the DIT offering, students can choose a phrase module to study and are presented with the chosen phrase in 3 to 4 exemplifications, a neutral, unmarked version, and 2 to 3 marked versions, demonstrating how variations in stress and intonation patterns can signal a different communicative intention. The phrases are therefore studied within their immediate phrase sequence context. Each phrase is extracted from a short mini-log, which provides a wider interactive context for the phrase sequence and helps to illustrate the role of these phrases in promoting speaker interaction. A series of online exercises accompanies each phrase module, as we can see in the next slide. The 7 activities which are available for each phrase module. The 7 activities which are available for each phrase module lead the learner from an awareness of the difference between an unmarked and a marked use of the phrase being studied, through a growing awareness of the speaker's intention in uttering it in the manner recorded, to insight into why it was spoken in this fashion in the mini-log recorded. The exercises also allow learners to concentrate on which of the speech features studied, i.e. stress, intonation, speed, or vowel lengthening, was used in achieving the marked version of the phrase sequence. Finally, the mini-log is represented to learners in gapped format so that they can record the most appropriate variation in that context. DIT's version of FluenCi will be presented online using HTML5. This graphic shows a visualization of part of its current interface. Time-scaling technology, i.e. the slowdown facility, allows recorded speech to be played back at a slower rate without tonal distortion. This gives learners more time to study the production of intonation patterns, thus facilitating their imitation. Only the availability of slowdown makes the study of rapid, authentic speech feasible. It is similar to fast photography used to slow down a tennis serve or a golf swing. The use of HTML5 will allow the development of customized audio and video players without the need for Flash or other plugins which may or may not be properly implemented for a given browser. This will also make the transition to mobile platforms, both web-based and native, a lot easier to implement. HTML5 is gaining in popularity and is already compatible with various browsers. The FluenCi team see the advantages of the FluenCi product as presented as the following. It allows learners to progress beyond the traditional grammar and vocabulary as taught in secondary schools, for example. It also introduces users to the importance of intonation and prosody in native-to-native communication. and it establishes a link between scripted teaching dialogues and real native-to-native speech, as exemplified in the dynamic speech corpus. But how do you see it? We would welcome your feedback by email to the following address. Thank you for watching this presentation.